two Herzogs, three Cabernets, same winemaker, different vineyards, same grape. What's the exciting part of it, and is there really a difference?
People ask us all the time, do you really see the difference in wine? Is there a difference in wine? And my short answer is, you, the viewer, you can also see a difference in wine. All you got to do is open these three wines side by side without being an expert. You will smell the difference. Now, how to distinguish the difference, to identify the difference and understand what you like and what's coming from where, that you need Moishe's expertise for. But any nose can tell you the difference between these three wines. Why? Because they come from different places in the world. They come from different vineyards. And the different vineyards tell the entire story. And then each of them are treated differently. Some of them have more oak, some of them have less oak. And each grape is matched and paired in a different way. So of course they're different.
In winemaking, you let, at least for Herzog, I could say that, you let the wine create its journey. You let it decide, based on the grapes, the AVA, American Viticulture Area, where the grapes come from. And you know this, year by year, the history of it. You let the grapes speak for themselves. You make sure you let the grapes express themselves.
I need to do this because this was a lot of fun when I told my bank. I told my bank recently, I had a meeting and I spoke about you. I said, I have a friend, right? A unique guy. He has a father and a mother. But that father and mother also had another how many children?
That's what I wanted to ask.
How many children did your father and mother have?
16.
16.
Oh, okay, 16.
And these
My wife's
16,
family is 17.
oh, your wife's family is 17. Is there
To
anyone,
13. That's why I did the 26 p.m.
is there anyone like Moishe Meyer in the entire family?
I don't think so.
So let me ask you, one father, one mother, and one Moishe Meyer, and nobody's the same. Because of course there's genetics, of course there's similarity in the wines.
Talented.
They're all talented and they all have, maybe they all have some
speech.
commonalities, and maybe you can identify all these three as being Herzogs. All three of them are visibly Herzogs. They have the structure, the balance, the discipline that you're going to have in Herzog wines, but they're all so visibly different.
Cheers.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So it's basically two sons raised in a different.
No, but here,
Born at a different time, raised in a different way. You know how they say about children, nature versus nurture? How much of the child's personality has to do with their nature, and how much of the child's personality has to do with how they were nurtured, who their friends were, what school they went to, how their parents brought them up. Wine has that balance. I would say in Herzog, it's more nature than nurture, because the Herzog winemaker's philosophy is to allow nature to do the most of the talking, and their nurture is only to control as much of that nature. Where in Israel, you'll have many winemakers that are more about the nurture. They'll take the grapes and they'll influence it much more than the typical Herzog
So
wines.
what's the best way for people to differentiate?
So
Should
first
they
of all,
buy?
I'm going to say what Mori said before.
Okay.
Mori said at the beginning. 3 bottles of wine, buy 3 bottles. I'm going to say make sure that you do it with 3 friends as well. Not just the 3 bottles. Get a few friends, make it a fun evening, get together, do this, taste it, cook up some foods, pair it with them, see the differences. That's the first
100%.
thing.
It's that simple.
So, just in the nose, I'm going to jump into Alexander Valley. Trying to keep it on directive here. I'm getting coffee. I'm getting leather. There's a lot of peppery, there's green pepper, bell pepper, but there's a lot of spices. I get sage. There's a lot of those green herbs that I'm getting here as well.
Right, so we should say that the 22 is distinctly different than the 21 because we talked about nature, and 2022 is a very different vintage than 21, right, Joseph?
Correct. So it's much more of a restrained vintage. Napa is more inland. It's a hotter climate. The soils are different, and you're getting much more fruit. In all the California you get it, but especially in the Napa. One of the things, every Napa wine is going to be very dark, forest fruit, blueberries, elderberries. You get a very dark red, blue fruit in Napa, always.
Right. So the Alexander Valley was visibly softer. I would call it more elegant. Napa Valley is more robust. And we talked about that before, that sometimes you want to enjoy a wine with food, sometimes you want to enjoy a wine without food. Different occasions, different style wines. But the one that will surprise us the most, because we're getting down to the last 30 seconds, is the Lake County.
I think what you get now in the lake, there's a whole nother level of spice that you didn't
So
get.
you think because of the spice it will be good with sesame chicken?
I think it's gonna cut through. When we speak about sesame, it just took something, but it's about that has a lot of grease, has a lot of fat. Has enough tannins, enough acid to cut through that.
It's nasty because I'm in the mood of sesame chicken.
Okay.
Good as well.
I also think it shows the most oak influences as well on the Lake
Again,
County.
this aspirin candy wrapper
But
comes
even
in
the
so
oak,
strong.
but even the oak has to do with the wine. The winemaker David is not going to put oak just for putting oak.
So let's
It's going
go.
to have to match up to the character of the grape, to the character of the wine, to give it the oak that could handle it.
So I want to raise a glass to Moishe for being predictably unpredictable. And by the way, that's the great thing about wine. When you go into wine, you have preconceived notions about what you're going to taste and what you're not going to taste because Moshe told you you're going to taste this or Joseph told you you're going to taste that. Be predictably unpredictable. Have fun. Be loose. And I think the main message Moshe is telling you is not whether you taste leather, berries, fruit, peach, cats, or something else in the wine. What he's telling you is be predictably unpredictable. Have fun when you drink. Enjoy the drink. Enjoy the beverage. It's Hashem's great pleasure. The only thing in the world that has its own unique blessing, the only thing in the world that has its own unique blessing is wine because it's special.
So taste, be descriptive, think, eat, whatever you want, have fun. Take the snobbiness, as I said, like Moishe does. Take the snobbiness out of wine and just enjoy it.
The more we taste, the more we know.